It's NBA action on EA Sports. I'm Ed Cohen. Great to be joined by Jay Williams for what should be a terrific matchup here tonight. We're at Chesapeake Energy Arena in downtown OKC. Tonight, it's the Oklahoma City Thunder getting set to match up with the New York Knicks. Our opening tip won by the Thunder as we get started in OKC. Add 2 points to the board. He has that sixth sense that you just can't teach.
He's like a traffic cop, and he's navigating a myriad of bodies coming his way. And there's a smaller innuendo of the game that nobody talks about. When he makes a great pass, he'll tell the offensive player, shoot it, go up, dunk it. He will direct you and lead you to success.
Oh, Jay, he commands the paint this time down.
Some players are just built to absorb the contact. He pretty much dusted that defender off like that was a bug at the park.
Paul to Adams. And he's fouled. Very close, Jay. The results, he's going to the line.
Trust me, you want to avoid early foul trouble. Take that one as a warning.
And hits the first free throw. And gets both to drop at the line. Jay, the Knicks searched long and hard for their next head coach. They chose David Fizdale. Why was this the right choice?
Well, first off, he's a two-time NBA champion as assistant coach with D. Wade and LeBron James from Miami Heat. And I got some time to spend with him down in Miami at D. Wade's fantasy camp. He is hard and very stern, but it comes from a brotherly place. His ability to build the right culture in New York will be imperative, but it all starts with that kind of teaching.
Jumper's good.
That was a tough shot. The guy was in your pocket. He even contested the shot. Everything was going according to plan until then.
Ooh, Chris Paul. 2 for 2. That's what you want.
It can only be one of two things here. One, the defender ran out of gas. Or two, this dude is just unstoppable.
Here comes the screen. To Julius Randle. Off the assist.
He's been doing this for years, the physicality in which he plays. No one wants to see that. You're going to leave the game with black and blue marks all over your body.
Paul. Able to convert inside.
You feel that? I see the confidence building.
New York Knicks basketball. Here comes the screen. To Julius Randle. Whistled for the foul. Chance coming up at the free throw line.
You see this all the time. The defensive players establishing his presence on the court and also checking to see how far the refs are going to let him go.
Julius Randle. Couple of free throws on the way. 71% for his career. Good free throw shooting. Knocks down a pair. Now Paul with the basketball. He'll run the offense. For 3. That's off the side of the rim. Short. Here comes the screen. To Julius Randle. Shot clock, it's coming down to 4. Now down to 3. And counted at the rim.
Big shout out to the athletic trainer for this team. It's obvious you've been doing all the preparation required of your team in the weight room in the offseason. Flex on them a little bit.
It's Paul for 2. Won't go. He needs some luck on his side given how they're defending. To Julius Randle. Iguodala matched up with Steven Adams. Here comes the screen. Oh, good defense there. Thunder with the steal. From the painted area, won't go down. Possession lies with New York. To Julius Randle. Dennis Smith Jr. not done yet. On the follow. Way to stay with it.
I love the drive to the basket there. Instead of trying to go around or over, go through.
Paul into the front court. The score 12-8. For three, his first effort off the mark.
Great contest by the D, but I want to see the coaching staff call the same exact play.
Flushes down the slam. Jay, no question. There's an unspoken bond there.
Just on the same wavelength. And how about this? Sometimes a bad pass is a great pass when you have somebody as athletic as that can catch that anywhere and slam it down.
Chance for Chris Paul. He shoots off the mark. Greg Monroe, huge block.
Oh, he blocked that with authority.
A lot of contact on that play. He plays through it and scores.
Who's controlling the paint? The offense is controlling the paint right now. The defense needs to do a better job of making it more uncomfortable for those easy lays.
Paul driving, but he can't connect. Knicks with the basketball.
Defense, let's go.
Shot clock's at 5. Down to 4. Nothing going here on that drive. The shot clock expires. They're going to make some changes with some new personnel on the floor. Carmelo Anthony traded, but Sam Presti turns that into Dennis Schroeder.
And I love this acquisition by the Thunder. When you think about Schroeder, he is almost the opposite of what Russell Westbrook is. He is not a ball-dominant guard. He will have the ball in his hands, but he's more apt to make plays quickly with the ball than Russell, who likes to hold on to the ball towards the end of the shot clock.
Smith. To Julius Randle. Oh, nice find for the basket.
Great job using that shoulder to create contact with the defender without hesitation.
Thunder with the basketball. Schroeder. Nothing going here on that drive. Surveys the floor. To Adams. Big man, Steven Adams. Missed his first. That one goes.
Old school equals high percentage.
Smith now into the front court. His team on top by 8. To Schroeder. And the rebound taken by the big lefty, Monroe. To Julius Randle. Big finish at the rim. They have set the tone in this one.
I love when I see offenses come out in beast mode. You attack that paint, you get to the rim, inevitably the floor will open up for you to knock down some threes.
To Schroeder. Couldn't keep it in. It's out off Greg Monroe. Some lineup changes now for both clubs. Bamute. Down to 5. Down to 4 to shoot. Has a look. Shot by Robertson off the mark. To Julius Randle. Knicks with 4 to shoot. Short jumper misses. And he'll go to the foul line.
Guys like Gary Payton would always take ones early like this all the time. Number one, to see if they'll get caught. And number two, to leave a little mark on you to remind you that they'll be on you all game long.
Nerlens Noel at the line for 2 shots. Not the best career mark, 62%. First one goes down.
Number 51.
Second one off the mark. He goes 1 for 2. Elfrid Payton against Schroeder. To Taj Gibson. Nerlens Noel sends it away.
Don't stare him down like that afterwards.
Goes to the right side. Here's CP3. Ooh, Chris Paul. Not looking pretty. 3 for 10.
It looks like he's using his ball handling to feel the game out. I know it looks like he's just playing around out there trying to get the fans going. That is true, but he's also finding his rhythm.
Nothing going here on that drive. To Marcus Morris. With the fadeaway. Burns him for the basket.
2 points. Take them any way you can get them.
Paul across the timeline. Trailing by 10. He gets it.
They're going to have to find answers defensively and quickly because he's carving them up in the first quarter.
Number 3, Nerlens Noel.
Has a chance. The shot by Payton won't fall. Basket's good on the follow. Way to stay with it. First quarter's complete with the Knicks enjoying a sizable lead. Ed Cohen, Jay Williams with you as we get
Into the game for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Number 21, Andre Roberson. Subbing in for the New York Knicks.
nice pace, sets it up, and slams it down. That has to feel deflating for the other side.
They've really came out and made a statement so far in this first half. Another powerful dunk, but another easy dunk. When are we going to see some defense?
Reset here. Let's see what they do. Schroeder. Oh, he had him there for a second. Rebound hauled in by New York. Here comes the screen. Perfect feed to set up the basket.
Well, when you play for each other and not just for yourself, that's when great things happen. You essentially lose yourself in what the team is trying to accomplish. It's called unselfish basketball. And there's nothing more beautiful than rewarding your teammate with a nice pass and letting them finish for 2 or 3 points. He sent that one to the third row.
He was locked in. That was impressive. Sexton. Down for Iguodala. Nice finish at the rim.
And see, this is simple. This is where the PG pulls the bigs over to the side and says, we can't allow that to happen. You need to be an enforcer down low.
In the second quarter.
And throws it down. Jay, you know the deal. Keep the touches coming inside.
As long as that defense continues to give you high percentage shots, you better take that every time.
Deep right corner. Here comes the screen. All by himself. Creates his own shot there.
Oh, don't see the read. Be the read.
Across midcourt, it's Schroeder. His guys down big. Count the basket, and it could have been more. No whistle.
That's what I'm talking about, Ed. It's that simple. Put the ball in the bucket.
Iguodala to bring it up. Looking to make something happen. To Colin Sexton.
In the second quarter.
Finishing inside the paint on that one.
You know, from a point guard perspective, one of the things that I learned when I played in the league was that the more I was willing to give the ball up, the harder other players were willing to run to their spots. The harder the bigs were running to the rim. The harder the three-point shooters were running to the three-point line because they knew they could be active recipients. And when they caught the ball, they knew exactly what to do with it.
Bobby Portis rejects it.
That's why a rim protector is a necessity in this game.
Goes to the left side. That's what you've come to expect. Your best players making baskets.
You know what I like about this pass play? Instead of putting his head down and forcing the action, he patiently waited for the play to develop.
Trying to cash in. Off the mark. Surprised he took that one. Give him 2 points. High percentage. Late heave to beat the buzzer. A very one-sided first half of basketball as we are at halftime. Let's get you to Orlando where we say hello to Jalen Rose in our EA Sports Halftime Report. Jalen.
The Knicks absolutely dominated the competition in the first half.
It was their playmaking, the way they gave each other scoring opportunities. That really impresses me. I love seeing unselfish basketball like that. Have a look at the league. The Thunder may be in the building, but they didn't. Back to Ed and Jay to bring you the second half.
New York in control of the basketball. To Julius Randle. Scores from the post.
We're watching a clinic right now. We're watching basketball one-on-one. Whoever this professor is, he needs to get paid top dollar.
Paul into the front court. Down a bundle. Shot won't go. Here comes the screen. To Monroe. The big guy, Greg Monroe. That's how it's done. He's 4 for 4 in the game.
This type of game needs to be celebrated. This is the type of culture that is fostered when you play with unselfish players. When you give up a little bit of yourself and you make your teammate look great, that's the difference between winning and losing. So when you see these guys smiling, when you see them giving each other high fives, that's because of the energy that was created from the pass. Pass is one of the most brilliant things we have in this game.
Paul.
I got ball. Got some for him.
Knocked loose. It's a turnover as they head the other way.
Ooh, I think people are leaving already.
To the rim, lays it up and in.
Sometimes when the players find that flow, nobody else needs to touch the ball. He's in the zone by himself.
I got ball.
And scores. Strong take.
Ed, all this talk I heard over the summer, what about CP3's hamstring? Will he be able to get back his first step? Will he still have it? There you go.
To Monroe. The big guy, Greg Monroe. The defense is really going to have to start paying attention. He's 5 for 5 for the field. With the rock, it's Chris Paul.
Hey, watch this screen left.
The drive, right to the basket. Dennis Smith Jr. snatching it out of the air.
Ed, that's light work for a guy with his ability.
He'll go to the foul line to shoot.
Okay, now we're on the home stretch, and you got a big lead. Don't let your opponent back in this game by giving up extra possessions.
Off the mark on the first free throw.
Soft and buttery, soft and buttery.
Missed the second one as well. Iguodala to bring it up. His guys hold a commanding lead. Short jumper off the mark. To Paul. Nothing going here on that drive. Oh, mistake there as the pass stolen by the Knicks.
You go back to the principles, things that we started working on when we were in first and second grade. It's called the shell drill. You stay down in the stance defensively, you try to deny the next pass away, and you have to communicate. If your conditioning is bad, you have no chance. But if you're able to do all these things together, collectively, you will be able to stop a great passing team.
To Dennis Smith Jr. Layup goes down. Well done.
There's some players out there that like the freedom of space, and then we have the anomalies. We have the players who feel comfortable being uncomfortable. And almost the physicality of the game centers them and puts them right on balance every time.
To Julius Randle. Nothing going here on that drive. Randle. The pass set it all up.
You know, Ed, I'm down with guys having 35, 40, maybe 50 points in the game. But the one thing you look for in the defensive end, when there's a huddle after a guy has dropped multiple buckets on you in a row, and everybody's quiet, nobody stands up and says, yo, I got him, I'm going to stop him, you're in a worrisome place for your team.
The screen sets him up for two.
I wasn't necessarily sure which way that PNR was going, but I guess neither was the defense. That makes two of us.
Down to Randle. Able to convert inside.
So much about passing is about the pace of the pass. Sometimes you need to dart the pass through the gap. Other times you need to have a feathery touch where you can loft the ball up for your player to dunk the ball. That pace is everything in this game.
And the reward, he's going to the line.
Just because a team's winning doesn't mean the refs are going to put away the whistle. Play right all the way through.
Danilo Gallinari has got two shots coming. Hasn't missed yet. First free throw is good.
Keep working him out, boy. He can't guard you.
For the Oklahoma City Thunder, number 17, Dennis Schroeder.
2 for 2 on that trip. The possession lies with New York. Smith.
Screen coming, screen coming, screen coming.
To Julius Randle. Stuffs it down with authority.
This may sound cheesy, but sometimes you just need to sit back, get a tub of popcorn, and just enjoy the show, because that's what you're watching right now.
Here comes the screen. Curling inside. Not that time. Nice touch around the basket with the tip.
In the paint, you need to finish just like that.
Here comes the screen. To Monroe. Yes, and the foul. And a chance at 3 coming up.
That was such a great job by the offensive player. Knowing that you're probably going to take some lumps here and there, but still remaining aggressive throughout the shot and getting a crack at the extra point.
Free throw good to cap off the three-point play as they continue to open things up here in the third quarter. Thunder with the basketball. Knocked loose. That's a turnover. It goes the other way. Gets to the basket and scores.
Woo, did you see that? Eyes to the rim, and the rest was all net.
Here's Schroeder with it. He'll run the offense.
Shot, shot, shot.
Wide open look won't go. Now pass taken away by the Thunder.
You know, Ed, sometimes you're just more ready to play than your opponent. The intensity and the effort, it's off the charts.
Smith with it up top. His guys holding the big lead. Here comes the screen.
Right. That's a cutter coming through.
New York with 4 to shoot.
Green, get over, get over.
To Monroe. Shot clock violation. Both coaches dipping into their reserves. Changes coming onto the floor.
For New York, number 31, Marcus Morris. Into the game for the Oklahoma City Thunder, number 30.
Julius Randle pins it.
That kid can block out the sun, Ed.
To Payton. And he finishes at the rim.
Contact on a drive can be a beautiful thing. Making those tough shots can really help you build a mental advantage over your defender.
Hey, watch this screen.
Steven Adams.
Who gonna do this?
Count the basket inside.
Ooh, cool, calm, and collective. The 3 C's. His handles are effortless.
I got ball. 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 I'm here.
Here comes the screen. To Adams. Shot from the lane won't go. Greg Monroe able to recover with the block. Couldn't keep it in. Out off Elfrid Payton. Time to shuffle things up. Off the assist.
I love the drive to the basket there. Instead of trying to go around or over, go through.
Let's see what the Knicks can do here. To Payton. Monroe to Payton. It goes down.
Look, there was barely any contact on that last play. I agree with the ref's no call. Let him play.
Knocked loose. It's a turnover as they head the other way. To Monroe. And the rebound comes down to the Thunder. To Marcus Morris. Here comes the screen.
Right.
Oh, good defense there. Thunder with the steal.
Screen, I got your help.
Deep left corner. Tough-looking shot there. Still gets it to go down.
That's a strong finish. Regardless of contact, finishing strong is key.
Knocked loose. Goes reverse to lay it in.
2 points. Take them any way you can get them.
New York Knicks basketball. To Julius Randle. Old school. Backs his man down for the basket.
It just seems like nobody can stop him but him. Once he's found his offensive swag, that boy's deadly.
Screen coming. Slams it down. Jay, let's see if that's a sign for him.
Well, he's been pretty much non-existent the first 3 quarters, but when you have a play like that, that can get the juices going, and that can help you with your offensive rhythm.
Payton. Easy path to the rim.
And if you don't contest, he's knocking that down with ease.
2 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
And he hits.
There you go, finally. Shoot your shot.
Down low to Monroe. To Julius Randle. He was smothered and still gets it to go down.
I remember my high school coach said one man can't beat five. Well, I'm telling you right now, he lied. I'm watching it happen in person.
Yes, and a foul. He'll have a chance at a three-point play.
People become so fixated on the hands or the arms or the strengths of the arms. I look at the legs. The strength of his legs help him power through that play. That's how you get and ones.
Missed it at the line.
Pick up, pick up, pick up.
You're out, man. It's too easy.
Cutter, get tag.
They go down low to Randall. Stuffs it down with authority.
And when people talk about vision, people usually talk about the vision to make the pass. But how about seeing the chaos in the traffic before the pass even occurs? That's next level vision. How can I catch people out of position defensively? That's what we saw in that last possession.
And a chance coming up at the line.
Sometimes when you get up big, you get a little careless. But attention to detail through the end, that's how you avoid unnecessary fouls.
And he connects on the first free throw. Goes 2 for 2 at the line. Possession lies with New York. To Marcus Morris. Driving right to the basket. He wants it at the rim and scores.
Might have had an extra dribble or two there, but he got the shot he wanted.
Hit it.
Knocked loose. Love the hustle. Sprawled down on the deck. Nice pass to set things up.
Great job using that shoulder to create contact with the defender without hesitation.
Everybody pick up. Dia.
Rises for the slam.
Man, they are just continuing to pour it on. But the one thing we know about in this league, you have to make sure that you continue to play with energy because leads can evaporate quickly.
That's me.
Count the bucket for 2.
The assist from number 33.
Long heave from three-quarters court. That ends the third quarter. The Knicks are way out in front. The Thunder have it to start the fourth quarter, and they've really had very little go right for them on either end of the floor.
Remember that old line, your attitude determines your altitude? Well, when you see dejected faces on the sideline, that poor body language gave you an impression that they had no chance to win this game.
Defense, let's go.
Here comes the screen. To Marcus Morris. Shot clock expires. 24-second violation.
I got him. Here we go.
Has a look. Off the mark. He's made those before, but that was well defended.
You know, Ed, everybody gives so much credit to the guy who contested the shot, but there's no way he's in that position without the communication of the backbone of the defense. When you have a guy back there who can block shots and tells you to apply more pressure, you know you're in a safe place.
Schroeder to Bamutek. Shot clock winding down. Has a chance. Their shot no good there by Bamutek. To Monroe. And count the basket.
You know, it reminds me of a story a legendary coach once told me. He said, if you ever get in a fight, you're not going to hit somebody with an open hand, correct? You'll probably break a finger. But if you hit somebody with a fist, what is that? That's 5 fingers working collectively together as one. That's how you deliver a knockout punch, and that's what we're seeing tonight.
To Colin Sexton. Here comes the screen. Yes, and the foul, and a chance at 3 coming up.
The offense has very little to lose on those type of plays if they know they can, number 1, create contact, and number 2, still get the ball up. You need to assert yourself fully on the defensive end by initiating the contact and not allowing the offensive player to get that ball above his waist.
Good shot.
The Thunder have the possession. To Bamute. He was all over him. Missed the shot. No free throws. To Gibson. To Marcus Morris. Shot clock coming down to 4. To 3.
I'll say this, great young talent, but needs to really start making better decisions and protecting the ball.
Shifting gears. Here come some substitutions.
Substitutions, New York. Entering the game for Oklahoma City, number 17,
Schroeder.
Dennis Schroeder.
Right, right.
OKC now with 4 to shoot. Fires the 3, and he buries it. Jay, the system produces once again.
I got to be real here. I think he was the only one expecting to shoot that shot. The crowd, the coaching staff, every other player on the court, and myself, all of our mouths are left wide open right now.
Nice pass to get things going.
Well, we got a chance to firsthand watch something be created. I think we just watched an epidemic of passing. I've never seen something like this before. It was so contagious, everybody started to do it, and it ultimately led to the other team's demise.
If that's an epidemic, sign me up. Finishing inside the paint on that one.
Showing you why he belongs here in this league with the best of the best. Efficient scoring out of the rookie here tonight.
OKC ball.
That's me. I got ball.
Schroeder. Slam dunk.
An easy 2, get back on defense.
To Dennis Smith Jr. Over to the right side. They've slowed down the pace. Now 3 on the shot clock. Got it.
And there's nothing more mentally intimidating for your opponent than when your own teammates are unselfish and make sure that you get the ball because they want you to drop 70 on them, maybe like Devin Booker did last year.
Knicks come away with it. Here comes the screen. To Julius Randle. Big finish that time for Julius Randle. At this point, if it continues, it just may be good night, Irene.
And ooh, I like that Irene line.
There you go, Jay.
And sometimes as a player on the defensive end, Ed, you need to draw a line in the sand. You have to find a way to change the narrative because right now the constant theme has been too many easy buckets.
Jay, don't deny it. You're an old soul at heart.
Yeah, I still don't know who Irene is, though.
Me neither. Finish that. Knicks with the basketball. Here comes the screen.
Don't even play with him. You see, he can't
Now
work.
pass taken away by the Thunder.
Tonight, it may not cost you, but in a playoff game, it will.
No good and no foul. Smith with the basketball. His guys holding the big lead. Screen coming. Down low to Monroe. And stuffs it home.
I know there's that old saying that says one man can't beat five, but we're watching one man carry four other players. His back has to be hurting. Another big-time finish.
Greg Monroe with the block.
Don't stare him down like that afterwards.
To Schroeder. From the painted area, won't go down. New York in control of the basketball. Smith down low to Monroe. Here comes the screen. Knicks with 4 to shoot. Smith shot, no good. Mike Muscala swats it.
Just erasing mistakes left and right.
Schroeder with the basketball. His guys down big. Nice pace, sets it up, and slams it down.
That's what I'm talking about. Nice finish. It's all business.
Randall. To Monroe. From the outside, no good.
And it's never a great thing when you're talking to yourself the entire next possession about the shot you just missed. Now you know you're in that player's head mentally.
Bamute. Monroe to Julius Randle. Converts in the paint. Nice finish at the rim.
Ed, I have so much admiration for guys that continue to hunt their shot. They're playing the second half like it was the first 5 minutes of the ball game. Those natural-born leaders are guys that will consistently lead your team to the promised land.
Now ready for a couple of free throws.
Okay, now we're on the home stretch, and you got a big lead. Don't let your opponent back in this game by giving up extra possessions.
Luke Bamute, couple of free throws on the way. For his career, 66%. Oops, he missed the first one. And he's able to hit the second after missing that first one. Smith into the front court. His guys hold a commanding lead.
Screen.
To Monroe. Randall. Shot clock winding down. Lets it fly from beyond the arc. Noel with the rebound. Trying to cash in. Knocks it down. Off the step back. Late heave to beat the buzzer. It's a victory for the Knicks as they win this one in very convincing fashion. For Jay Williams and all our crew.
The Knicks put their opponents away in a blowout. You ask me, and I'll tell you, it was the ball movement that made all the difference. There's something to be said for a team that can win as a group, and that's what happened here today.
Player of the game.
Easy choice for player of the game. No one else made as big of an impact in this matchup.
On behalf of ESPN on EA Sports, I'm Jalen Rose, and it's been our pleasure to present you with some NBA basketball.